Greater Chennai Corporation Commissioner J Radhakrishnan, who has been on the ground visiting every part of the city, fighting the floodwaters, joins us on the show this evening. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a very difficult time for you and your team, and I appreciate you taking the time out to join and speak to us. There are lots of questions, as I pointed out, over the situation in Chennai and why the inundation was so severe and the action taken by the administration. But first, give us a quick situation update. Has waterlogging cleared in all areas of the city, or are there areas which are still struggling?
Yeah, I should be very frank to you that, almost 80 to 85% of the areas which were inundated during that, very heavy rainfall consequent to the cyclone being stationary for a very long period close to Chennai. But we do have pockets of problem. I'm sure you or your colleagues would also seen in the media. The situation was when this 36-hour sort of rainfall took place, all the 426 square kilometer we had inundation, and all the 35,000 odd numbers of road, 6,000 kilometers rate, you would have seen inundation. Now the situation is 85% of the roads are cleared, the water has gone in. Reasons I'll come to later. But the pockets where we are having problem are Pallikarnai and Velacheri in the south, and of course Semanjeri, parts of Semanjeri. Then of course even in the north we have places like Manali, where excess water from Pudal and Pundi was discharged.
So, as you mentioned that and give us that status update, why was it so severe this time? There are serious questions that have been raised. There is, as you know, a massive stormwater drain project worth over 4,000 crores being spent on it that's underway in the city. But still, there is inundation. Do we then assess that that project has failed? What really explains the repeated inundation? Who's to be held responsible?
What happens is, one, we cannot compare disasters. Each looks a little bit unique. Like, we can have a model classification of flood, cyclone, drought and all. In this particular case, the unique thing is Chennai is just next to the sea, and only there are four ways. One in the north called as Ennur Creek, where Kosathalayar drains. Then in the center we have Adayar and Kuvam, and in the south we have Kovalan Basin where Buckingham Canal drains. Only these four outlets are there to the sea. And in this particular cyclone, what phenomenon we saw is 100 to 150 kilometers, it was stationary, and very heavy downpour was happening, and the sea was so rough that the water was literally not taking, and these four main waterways, whether it is Adayar, Kuvam, Kosathalayar or Buckingham Canal, were flowing higher and not taking water. Sea was not at all taking water. So the 33 micro canals, 14 other canals, plus the waterways, 3 other waterways in the city, just sort of having overwashes. So that is why the inundation was more or less uniform. Even in front of LIC, there was a thing everywhere. It started, the overwashes started, and finally, of course, the Narayanapuram area, just slightly outer to Chennai, in the near the Pallikarnai area, that which catches all the water. Again, this goes back to Kovalam Basin. So that was the technical reason. We will wait for experts to work, but honestly, on ground, that's what I was saying. Now that the water is rapidly, the sea is allowing the water to flow in, within 12 to almost 24 hours, the 80 or 85% of the area got cleared. Now, balance is that the water has gone out. It has spilled over to those areas. In that areas, we do have a challenge.
So point taken on those, but areas like Madipakam, Velacheri and the OMR road have become notorious for flooding every time, not even when there is so much rain, even when there is lesser rain. Every time there is rain, there are floods there. I'm not blaming this administration or that, but has there not been a systemic failure in these areas?
I'll personally say that, I will say that these are areas which are, a place to Pallikarnai marsh. Second is Madipakam. Even the year 2000, when I was the commissioner of the same place, that used to be the border. So they are all very, very low lying. If you go to Perumbakam, which is just Global Hospital and certain other place, they're literally 2 feet below the road level, and it's just like a watershed. even traditional places like Chennai, Chengalpet is known for lakes. Okay, it's like Chennai has no other way. All this, Nungambakam used to be an area. These are all historic things. It's not recently. People normally say that, encroachment in waterways. Now that has stopped. Supreme High Court monitors very clearly. We removed encroachment. But like a watershed, when there's a deluge, it ultimately joins into these areas. Lakeview Road. Lakeview Road obviously will be in front of a lake. There is a thing. Velacheri lake, which was such a vast thing. Now at this stage, there's no point in doing a postmortem as why they allowed that time. When you talk to people, they say, no, somebody has given a plan approval. They're all, patta lands. They are not illegal lands. So now we are doing reverse engineering, and to an extent, 20 to 24 centimeter rain. These stormwater drains are capable of capturing and putting onto this. But once it goes, it goes beyond, it becomes a challenge. Second challenge which we have been seeing of late is extreme weather events. 2:2, if this same 24 or 48 centimeter rain is spread over 3 or 4 days, it would have not have mattered. This entire almost 45 centimeters of rain, normally if you have 8, around X centimeters rain in northeast monsoon, almost 50 centimeter rain happened in these 3 days. This is happening not just in Chennai, in many other places. So I think we need to manage that aspect as we look. So that's why I personally am feeling more non-structural kind of things, allowing retention ponds, allowing more retention structures, linking up the lakes in upstream, particularly via the downstream. This thing, even Andhra's surplus via coastal layer comes to Chennai. These are the issues.
I really wish we can sort all that out, sir. But I just want one last question to you, and very briefly, if there is one wish that you have, something you believe that can be done to improve the city and make it flood resistant, not flood proof, flood resistant, what would that be? Quickly.
See, we all need to work together. We need to have more openings in the sea, get appropriate CRZ approvals. It should not be that, everything goes through ultimately these 4 roads. It's like, 4 major roads where 10 roads were joining. Now there are almost 150 roads joining. That is one. Then every area we need to have unique solutions. We have been working with RWS, developing retention ponds in those areas so that they can hold on to some amount of water. Now, Velacheri and all the places which you mentioned are suffering the surplus of another area. All the water coming through. So urban flooding is a unique phenomenon. We cannot say it's just a natural disaster. A lot of gated communities have come in. So we need to work with builders. We need to tell everybody that, we all need to work together to address this. A lot of guidelines. Lot of improvement is there. Otherwise, you wouldn't have, 2015 also I was working in the field. It took almost 10 to 15 days to bring about a semblance of normality. Now, at least 75 to 85% of areas we have brought back electricity and all. Balance 15. And I'm very, very honest about it. Where we have not been able to relieve, those people definitely have their grievances, and we need to respect that and not treat disaster statistics and give figures. So as commissioner, we are duty bound to ensure that along with other departments, we rapidly give them relief and relieve them of this water stagnation. That we are at it, and we'll ensure that, future further improvements to take place.